Creativity gets a bad rap. A lot of people believe that creativity is something that you're born with and you can't really cultivate. And this is really unfortunate because creativity has a lot of benefits and people miss out because they believe that they're not creative. Some of these benefits include increased productivity, improved problem-solving skills, reduced perfectionism, reduced stress and anxiety, and an improved ability to be in the present moment. Plus, it's just a really fun way to increase your well-being. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Angela, and I create videos with tips and inspiration to help you lead a more authentic, intentional, and joy-filled life. So the first tip is to expand your mindset about what creativity is. You're not going to get very far if you secretly believe that you're not a creative person. This can be a difficult mindset to change because there is this idea that creativity or being creative means that you create salable art. And that is one definition of creativity, but creativity is so much more than that. The truth is, you were born creative. Creativity is simply observing and noticing your environment and exploring it, asking what if, being curious about it. It's asking, what happens if I do this? It's encouraging self-expression. And the second tip is to follow your curiosity when you're choosing an area in which to explore your creativity. For example, I took up watercolor on a total whim. One day I was at the library and I was returning some books and I noticed a flyer on the wall for free watercolor lessons. And instead of telling myself, oh, I don't have the supplies, oh, I don't know how to paint, I'm terrible at art, I don't have anyone to go with, I allowed that little spark of interest that I felt to get me to the class. I nurtured it. I showed up at the class and I loved it. And so I would encourage you to do the same thing. Whatever it is that gives you that little spark of interest, whether it's cooking or gardening or watercolor or piano or weaving or pottery, whatever it is, fan that little interest and go. Go explore, take a class, try it out. And the third tip is to focus on process and not the outcome. A couple of years ago, I took an altered book class and the instructor gave you the choice of two kits. You could choose one kit which would give you all the supplies that you needed to create the exact same book as the instructor, or you could choose the other kit which was a random hodgepodge of items and you could use that to create a different book. And so when I got to the class, I was surprised that the majority of the students wanted to create exactly what the instructor had created. And those of us who chose the other kit, our books were different. I thought they were beautiful. They reflected our creative choices. They reflected our personality. It can seem really comforting to follow along step by step by step and get a guaranteed outcome. But true creativity doesn't have a guaranteed outcome. Asking what if opens you up to making a mess instead of making something beautiful. But you learn from your explorations and that knowledge is integrated into your future creative choices. It's part of how you develop your own style and learn to express yourself through your creativity. The fourth tip goes along with the previous tip, which is to be encouraging. Allow yourself to be a beginner. Allow yourself to make bad art, to cook a lousy meal, to make a terribly ugly piece of pottery, to waste supplies. Just embrace it all and trust the process. It's okay. You will progress. Try not to judge yourself. Your creativity is like a tender little seedling and you don't want to squash it before it has a chance to grow and to eventually blossom. The fifth tip is to create a nurturing environment for your creativity. In this busy world that we live in, there's always so much that will pull you away from making time and space to be creative. So you have to be intentional about carving out that time and space. Block out time on your calendar. Keep your supplies out and handy and accessible. Or sign up for a class so that you have to show up and you have some accountability with the teacher and the other students. In fact, I'm actually running a 28-day photography challenge right now, and if you are interested in joining, please check the description below. I would love to have you. You can hop in anytime. It's no pressure. So if it sounds like something you might want to do, check the description below. Another part of this is seeking out inspiration and keeping it visible, keeping it in your home. I purchased a couple of pieces of art off of Instagram, and I hang them on the wall in my studio to inspire and encourage me and motivate me. And the final tip is to expose yourself to novelty, to explore the work of creative people who may not actually be in the area that you're interested in. For example, I dabble in writing poetry, and I am not interested in rap music. However, one of my sons a couple of years ago was really into Eminem, and we would be listening to Eminem, and I found that it influenced my poetry a little bit. Like my poems started to be more direct, a little more raw, and even express negative emotions sometimes, like just as a way to process them instead of always trying to write more lyrical poetry about, you know, positive things and the things that I love. I'm not ready to share any of it with the world, but it's just that idea that things cross-pollinate. And so when you expose yourself to other creative people, it can help you on your own creative journey. If you've enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and let me know in the comments what resonated with you and if I missed any tips. And don't forget, if you're interested in the photography challenge, you can sign up in the link in the description below.